So we had two debates. We had a French debate. We had an English debate, and they were both terrible. I think I don't know. I was reading a lot of stuff trying to see like the sense, and I don't get the sense that anybody won anything. I think everyone just hates everything right now, no matter who you are or what. I mean that is right now. All bipartisanship is everyone hates everything. I think I think that's where we're at in Canada.
Multi-partisanship.
Yes.
Multi-hatred.
Yeah. So we had these debates, and you could tell as well. Rebels coverage. Like I was expecting. Actually, I wasn't expecting anything. Let's be real. I think this election even caught them by surprise because I was expecting them to release a book. I mean, he's still got a week left, but I was honestly thinking, given what happened last time, that he was going to try to release another book and have the censors, or not censors, have the RCMP come and get mad at him about publishing a book during election, which breaks third-party elector laws. I don't think he had the time to do it. I think he tried to pull it off because there were some days where he was gone, and it could have been he was fighting lawsuits and all the other shit that he does. So, but he didn't get a book out. But then I was expecting like I don't know, like some coverage of the campaigns or anything. But literally all the coverage of the election so far has been what questions can my reporters ask? So we saw the one with Alexa, who is a member of the Rebel team, asking Singh a question. There's been several of her asking questions. We've got what did we have? We had Mocha acting a villain, asking questions. We had Lincoln Jay shouting at O'Toole. So this is all their election coverage has been that. You know, David Menzies gets his foot stepped on, trying to yell at Trudeau. Right, that's all we've got. That's the election coverage. You know, and then this is just an extension of that. So we covered it on stream last night, but they got let into the debates. They initially were sort of blocked from participating. They fought a lawsuit. They won the lawsuit. The exact same thing happened in 2019. It gave them a lot of publicity. They got published in an op-ed in the Globe and Mail. This time around, they won. The National Post and other newspapers were talking about it. So the spotlight is on them. They got allowed into the debates again. And all they've done about it is release these sort of like a reel of like, look at what we did. We asked them questions. And then they shoved it all together into these like 2 6-minute videos. Well, one's a 6-minute video, the other's a 4-minute video of them asking questions to the leaders after the debate. And that's what we get. This is Rebels election content. And it is you'll notice even with the questions themselves, it's going to be super self-focused. All they care about is the fact of like why you being mean to Rebel News. And that's their entire coverage. Okay? So we're going to go through it. We're going to start with the French one first, obviously, because it sequentially happened first.
Damn it.
This one, Rebel at least provides some subtitles, but also some of the responses and questions will be in English for the French language debate. It was the French language debate, but it doesn't mean the journalists had to ask questions in French. And it doesn't mean they had to respond in French either. So we'll watch that one first, and then we will watch the English one, which we already know what's coming with that one, but some of us might not have seen the French language debate questions. And so this is it. This is all the money that went into the lawsuits that allowed them to participate in the debate. This is what we get. Tukar says there's a lot of internet liberals linking that tweet thread saying Justin Trudeau didn't she kids? Didn't she kids?
Sue kids.
Sue kids that the
Didn't
government
sue.
is actually trying to give
Yeah.
more First Nations people access to the yeah no that and then there was a bunch of like indigenous activists who like are working on the case who are like no they are suing us and here's I love that one of them had like here's a webinar where you can watch like a legal proceeding on this that happened a couple weeks ago. Like it's amazing that Justin Trudeau can get on stage and say I'm not suing indigenous people. And it's clear that his government is still pursuing those lawsuits. What?
I saw Cindy Blackstock made a number of tweets about it because she's the main lawyer on the side of like the First Nations kids being sued,
That's exactly who I was referring
being
to.
like, how the fuck?
I just
Yeah.
temporarily forgot her name. But yeah. No, it's fantastic. Well, I mean, it's depressing, but it's just fantastic that he would make such a bold-faced lie. But at least lie with a bit more subtlety, Justin Trudeau.
I don't know, because like he can lie with like he can just say shit and still get defense and still get votes. Like it fucking sucks.
Yep. We'll have more shitty things to say about Trudeau in a second. Here we go.
Won't we always?
Yep. Oh, should probably take off 2 times speed.
Bezirgan with Rebel News, and my question is to Mr. O'Toole. Do you think that natural immunity from having COVID and recovering from it should be an exemption under vaccine rules? Are there any other exemptions would you support, like for religious reasons?
I couldn't hear all of the question, but
I love this response because it's just O'Toole. I don't know if it's both Mocha's accent, but also the phone cutting in and out, and O'Toole clearly did not. Well, the other thing I have to imagine is they're in this like giant like hall, and there's like nobody there except the reporters, and it's clearly very like echoey. So they're probably getting like what they're hearing is different than what we're hearing as well, I imagine. But this is his response to what did Mocha say? I even forget now. It had something to do with vaccine immunity or like natural immunity versus vaccine immunity.
Yeah, acquired immunity from having had COVID and possibly religious exemptions, and he's asking if he supports any of that or other possible exemptions from getting the vaccine.
Fair.
we've been very clear on our approach on vaccines. Vaccines are critically important. They're safe and effective for use. I encourage everyone to get vaccinated. I've been very public in that. We do respect people making their own decisions about their health care, and that's going to be our approach. We must inform and encourage and respect people as we use all tools to fight COVID-19, everything from masks to rapid testing, in addition to getting vaccine levels up as high as possible.
So there's a general, like, in terms of responding to Rebel, because one way to approach this is to be like, how should you address questions from Rebel? And I would say that the one thing here, at least for that question, in fairness to O'Toole, if you didn't even hear that it was from Rebel News to know that he's responding to them, I'll give him a pass on that initially. But also his answer to that question kind of sucked, I think. You know? It's almost like saying, I'm just going to let people choose to wear masks or not. Or, like, you know, it's like, I'm not going to have any strong position on trying to get people to actually vaccinate beyond just being like, please, please get vaccinated. Which is pretty much in all his campaign material. That's all he's been saying.
Well, and he's talking about support for rapid testing when, for the most part, rapid testing has ended in most provinces. Like, Alberta doesn't have testing centers anymore. You have to go buy a like $40 test from Shoppers and get tested that way. Here in town, there's only one testing center available, and you have to have an appointment to go to it. There is no, drop-in testing center, and we're a city of 500,000 people.
I think he had a tweet saying he was going to make sure people were vaccinated by appealing to their patriotism. As if that hasn't worked already.
Canada.
Yeah. Our
Our true
with vaccines.
Home, strong and vaccinated. Actually, don't even know the lyrics anymore.
I know, neither do I. Oh my god. But yeah, it's such a terrible plan. Like, you would think, I mean, there's the part of it which is like the Liberals have already sort of been appealing to people's like sense of duty and patriotism and do your duty, be a Canadian, help others, like all this stuff, right? So what is like somehow O'Toole's gonna come in and be like, beavers, maple syrup, poutine, get vaccinated. Like, I don't know what he wants. Like,
See-
what else is he gonna add to it?
And the thing is, like, as much as I hate patriotism and nationalism and whatever else, like, there are countries that have, like, kind of used that. But they've treated this, like, fucking pandemic as an actual goddamn war. Like, you look at, like, the posters and stuff out of, like, Taiwan and Vietnam and, like, other places where it's just been, like, a full, hard lockdown where the army comes in to make sure to, like, go door to door almost after quarantine has started to make sure people have food, but people aren't allowed to leave their homes or, like, anything like that. And yeah, those fucking propaganda posters are so good. They're so cool. And, you know, it's kind of like the we need you, or like that kind of bullshit where it's like, it is like very blatant, like sort of patriotic propaganda, whatever. But they took the fucking disease seriously, so people actually like give a shit. And it's kind of like, you can't have one without the other for this. And also, what is a patriotic Canadian? What are they patriotic to?
Again, they own beavers, ride a moose, and drink maple syrup and eat poutine. And play hockey. Like, no.
See, but most of that probably only applies to Ontario and maybe Quebec for some of it. Like,
No, well, like, did you watch enough beer commercials in the 90s? Because that's pretty much what the beer commercials in the 90s were telling us. All right?
yeah,
So the
but they were probably
market
selling
has
beer
spoken.
here. They're
Yeah,
selling
but
beer in Ontario.
But they were appealing
They
to
knew
our
Ontario
Canadian
Canadian
identity,
nationalism.
not Ontario identity, all right?
Were they? Were they?
It said, I am Canadian. That
Or
was,
is it just that
that
the
was the
majority of
slogan.
the population of
Why?
Canada is in Ontario?
well, you know, if we're going to go, like, this is a fake country shoved together with a bunch of people from disparate land masses. That's fine. Like, whatever.
There we go. That's the important thing. We need to... Okay. What O'Toole needs to do is appeal to regional nationalism. You
But it was
want
like,
Wexit?
yeah.
Get vaccinated. Then we'll set you free.
Ontario, get the vax because Quebec likes you more if you're not vaxxed, and they'll hate you if you're vaxxed. And then, like, all the Ontarians are like, we hate Quebec and get vaccinated.
See, exactly.
Fair. All right.
You just gotta appeal to a little bit of xenophobia, and boom, there you go.
Here's the second question.
Monsieur O'Toole, je vous ai parlé à vous et à
You've answered
plusieurs
a
de
number
vos
of
candidats à
questions,
cette
but when you
élection.
heard that I was
Je
with
vous ai
Rebel
posé des
News,
questions et vous m'avez répondu. Mais quand votre personnel a découvert que j'étais avec Rebel News, ils m'ont interdit l'entrée et également certains de vos candidats se sont enfuis de moi, dont Gérard Deltel. Ne pensez-vous pas que c'est votre travail de parler à tous les Canadiens et pas seulement à ceux qui sont en accord avec vous et que les personnes que vous aimez?
or that you like?
We have a plan to have a positive campaign. I expect that approach across the country, and that's why every day that I have a press conference after my announcement, that's why at the beginning of the campaign, we launched our platform, and we've just received the report from the Parliamentary Budget Officer. We have a transparent approach when it comes to our plan, and that's important for me as a leader, and it's important for me to answer questions like I'm doing tonight.
So, how I'm curious, Elrond. Like, it's normal to probably Vienna and I because this is just Canadian.
You're about to ask me about, like, how do I feel about the voiceover knowing that he was speaking that god-awful language?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I knew it was going to happen, but I still, like, in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck is this horseshit? Where's the English, damn it? Where is it?
It's just so, like, weird having, like, even, like, having a voice that's not, like, reflective of the voice we were just hearing. You know what I mean? Because he has a very distinctive voice, and then all of a sudden it's some, like, translator just coming out.
I don't like this French bullshit.
But as for like the content of his response, I mean, it was kind of like a non-response. He was just like, "Look, I'm answering your question. Therefore, I'm open. I'm open. See, I'm answering your question." Even though, like, we've watched some footage, well, at least I know of some footage that I've seen through like preparing for stuff where they did not allow Rebel News into any other press events or campaign events. So, you know, there it is. Is he open? Is he not open? I mean, he just answered her question by, in a way, like not really answering the question. But it wasn't really. If you contrast it with what we're gonna go with what's happening next, I think you're not gonna get a lot of like fuck Rebel News from O'Toole, and I wonder if he's aware of the kind of rise of the PPC and is therefore like thinking, I need to quasi appeal to this rebel base, thinking that he might be able to get some of them back or something. I don't know what's going on there. Because he's like right now in the polls, he's looking at the fact that he's like on par with Trudeau right now. And so like any slight bump he can get will help him out. I don't know if you have thoughts on that, Vienna, or move on.
But just PPC polling at 12%. Holy fuck.
I don't think that poll is legit. I think that was polling error.
No, because like it's been showing them close to 10% for like at like 9, 10. Like that's not a huge jump.
Every other poll has them around 5 or 6%. Like there's no way they're 10%.
No, I've been seeing a lot of them lately that are up there. Like it's.
I don't know if you're getting like the fear mongering sources, but like when you look at aggregate polls, they're polling around 5%.
The only place that I see polls is that Polling Canada website. Like, Main Street had them at 8% as well for today. A bunch of other ones had them at lower, yeah. But like
this CBC poll aggregate here has them at 5.9%. They're increasing, but it's not 10%. It's still not good. But I think that Ecos poll is not likely not accurate. Like,
yeah, I mean, and they're still not. Nothing looks like they're gonna get seats anyways. So it's like, sure, but
that's the other funny thing is like even if those like Ecos poll numbers are accurate, their popularity is so diffuse. They still won't get seats. That's like so weird. It's so weird. They are the only poll with those numbers. Yeah. See, I'm telling you, Vienna. I mean, worry, but I don't know. Don't worry too much. I don't think that they're gonna do well. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, and then we could get our rocks ready, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Now we get this clip itself made a lot of rounds, I think. If not this one, the next one, but we'll watch this.
Question from Tamara Ugolini from Rebel News.
This is the one that got traction. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Trudeau. The only reason that I'm allowed to ask you this question is because today the federal court ruled that the government doesn't have the right to determine who is or is not a journalist. This is the second election in a row that the court had to overturn your government. Do you still insist on being able to make that decision, and why?
First of all, questions around accreditation were handled by the Press Gallery and the consortium of networks who have strong perspectives on quality journalism and the important information that is shared with Canadians. The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation on the science around vaccines, around how we're going to actually get through this pandemic and be there for each other and keep our kids safe, is part of why we're seeing such unfortunate anger and lack of understanding of basic science. And quite frankly, your I won't call it a media organization, your group of individuals need to take accountability for some of the polarization that we're seeing in this country. And I think Canadians are cluing into the fact that there is a really important decision we take about the kind of country we want to see. And I salute all extraordinary, hardworking journalists that put science and facts at the heart of what they do and ask me tough questions every day, but make sure that they are educating and informing Canadians from a broad range of perspectives, which is the last thing that you guys do.
So I've already like sort of said my thoughts on this on like some other things, but to sum it up, it's like I agree with the content of what he just said. The other part I disagree with is don't humor them or don't try to make this like moral grandstanding, because like already I've seen on their fucking channel, because they have other like live streams that they were doing, they're giddy about the response that they got for him, because they're like, ooh, we made him so mad, he's looking at me so mad, look at the boy, he's mad. And that's what that response gets you, you know. It's not going to get you
what is this? Are you guys kidding me?
Oh yeah, now we get this hack account thing. This thing's been like following a lot of people, and it's like an IP thing, so don't click it. It's telling you to click here. Do not click it. Yeah, so it's and I can see why this appeals to a lot of liberal voters. And I want to say, the one I don't think it's good for him to like showboat like this in order to try to gain votes and stuff like this. I think that's like it'll backfire in that it'll encourage fascists rather than sort of like diminishing them. But I will say on the flip side, I thought about this like since then. The one positive thing that I will say, one positive thing that I'll say about Trudeau on this is that his government has been pretty proactive in terms of trying to craft bills to curb online hatred. Right? And in that respects, that is a way you can craft certain policies to prevent the spread of misinformation online by limiting the extent to which Rebel News can reach people. That is one way of doing it, okay? I am disappointed it's taken them this long, and I am disappointed that they decided to call election right when they passed first reading on the bill. And now if like conservatives get in, that bill is not going to pass, and it'll so I mean there's criticisms I have of Trudeau still, but even the fact that they are moving in the direction of crafting a bill like that, I'll give some minimal credit, okay? Minimal credit. But don't respond.
I think the framing of like, oh, you like it might backfire or whatever and like help fascists rise makes the false presumption that like at the end of the day they're opposed to that. Like, if anything, this will help both the liberals and the fascists. And to the liberals, that's a very good thing, because then they can be like, we're the party that's opposed to these people, and continue with that sort of line of thing. Because, you know, their goal is for it to be a two-party system that is the liberals versus whatever fucking crazy right-wing party happens to be existing at the moment, whether that is conservative or PPC or reform or progressive conservative or liberal conservative or the various other, you know, right-wing parties that have all been basically the conservative party slowly moving further right.
I guess I don't want to be...
So, like, at the end of the day, like, they're fine with it.
Yeah, but I don't think they're that cynical. Like, I think they're cynical. I don't think they're that cynical. I mean, like, I can see them already sort of, like, using those tactics with the Conservative Party, right? In contrast with the PPC. I still think the Conservative Party is bad, but you see the kind of, like, reflective messaging that you're talking about directed at the Conservative Party. I think with the fact that they wanted to craft something like Bill C-36 shows to me that they actually do think that this is a serious problem, or at least think their voters think it's a serious problem enough that they're going to craft these policies, which is a little different than like, because like remember when we were talking with Robin the other day, where it's like they're constantly using the conservatives as like, oh no, they're anti-choice, they're pro-life, they're going to do things to abortion, yet the liberal parties aren't offering a solution to it, right? It's just merely like using them as a sort of like, they're evil and scary, which they are to a certain extent. Like, I'm not in support of the conservatives, obviously. It's just like a different dance, and I feel like they're more comfortable with making that dance with the conservatives than they are with, say, like the PPC. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, like it's again, the best response is just don't talk to them, and like as we're going to get into with this next person who is fading into the screen, like this is the exact opposite sort of. This is the worst case scenario of responding to Rebel News.
Well,
Trudeau is the next, or I guess O'Toole is next after that, and then Trudeau. Like,
so this is the French language one. So I watched it and I was surprised.
Oh, it's a different one
because I didn't see the French language one first, and she says some I think similar stuff to what we're already prepared for. But
oh my god, this is so bad.
Yes. I saw some of the question section. It's very basic. If they want to be in a leadership position, yet they can't even handle questions from immediate outlet, that doesn't bode well. You have Jagmeet acting like a petulant child. See, no, I don't think it is. See, a lot of people respond to that as petulance, but really it is. It deflates them. As someone who covers Rebel News constantly, okay, they cannot market off of shutting the question down and smiling. What do they do with that? They can't do anything with it. They're going to be cutting promos, and they're going to be like playing the clip and getting their audience all riled up over Justin Trudeau's response. They are. I know a lot of people. See, I mean, this is like, we had this talk yesterday, which is I think a lot of people reflectively think of it as like some weird optics game. And so you see Jagmeet just refusing to answer a question, and you're like, oh, what a child. And then you play this optics game. And it might hurt Jagmeet for doing it. But the credit that I want to give to Jagmeet is the evidence suggests that that is the right thing to do if your goal is to minimize fascists. Don't give them space. Don't give them a platform. Act as if they don't exist. That is one way of diminishing their ability to persist in society. And as a leader, that's like the right move. I think there's different ways with like interacting with fascists. We try to do something here, obviously, but like, on a platform like this, you don't want the wider public getting to know your fascists. You want to shut them down. So, hard disagree, and we'll get to that when we get to Jagmeet. But
yeah, I think it's a very just like liberal, like opticsy response to pretend that like anything other than the "don't take questions from Rebel News" response is a good one.
And this is the direct opposite of that. Enemy Paul.
Woohoo.
Question is from Abin Seuss, Rebel News.
Hello. This debate is an insiders club for the political establishment. It banned Maxime Bernier and the People's Party, even though he's ahead of you and the Bloc combined in the polls. It also banned myself and Rebel News from even reporting until the federal court interjected and said that was illegal. You haven't spoke out against this exclusion. Do you think that all voices should be heard in Canada?
I didn't fully hear the question. The sound isn't fantastic. I believe you asked if voices should be heard. I certainly believe that there is space and should be space for differences of opinion. I believe that our democracy is healthier when we have a diversity of opinions. I think that actually what has gone on within my party has demonstrated that there are many healthy debates going on within politics, some of them difficult. So if that was your question, then certainly, I certainly am not looking for people just to agree with everything that I have to say. I think that Parliament is a place where we should be able to have robust exchanges, but still find the common ground. And there is a difference between having legitimate differences on policy and hyper-partisanship. We need to change the culture of politics.
So you could tell, so this one is a little better, and I think the only reason it's a little better is because she gets the caveat about like what she heard or didn't hear. Right? And it didn't seem like a full-throated sort of like acceptance of the PPC and wanting them at the thing, which is what we're going to get in the next one. I didn't know if you had a follow-up on that one. But...
Sorry, I took a bite of food.
Yeah.
It still wasn't good, though.
Yeah, still wasn't good, but...
She did start off by being like, uh-oh, because she heard that it was from Rebel News. And then she still chose to respond. Like...
Muta's like, she seems like she's on Xanax when she talks. She does always seem tired, and I don't know what that is. She does, every time I see her, I'm like, just take a nap. It's all right. and you know what?
I mean, it's hard to sleep when you've just straight up
I know, I was just going to say that. Or something like that. Like, she's been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're getting to what I reflect on as being the better response. So hear this.
Alexandra pour Rebel News. Historiquement, le NPD s'est opposé aux grandes sociétés pharmaceutiques et aux sociétés milliardaires qui se sont enrichies grâce au blocage, comme Amazon et Walmart. Et le NPD était très attentif aux libertés civiles, y compris en étant pro-choix sur son propre corps. Pourquoi avez-vous embrassé les milliardaires de Big Pharma et abandonné votre philosophie de pro-choix?
Merci, mais je ne réponds pas aux questions de Rebel News.
And he goes, thank you, I won't answer questions from Rebel News.
Est-ce que vous pensez que c'est une option de ne pas répondre à un média juste parce que le fait que vous nous aimez pas?
Nous devons...
Merci beaucoup. Question is from Rebel News.
So we just got to thank you very much there, and then we get our second one.
Good evening. Before you tell me that you're not going to answer my question, I just want to say that I'm not here representing myself or my company. I'm here representing millions of Canadians who have real questions for you, like the one my colleague Alexa just asked. People who you would marginalize. Is your message to them that they are second-class citizens?
Not at all. Sorry.
Shut the fuck down. Not at all. I mean, that's how you respond to it. It's just like, I don't take you seriously. Next. Because they're not serious. Look at most of those questions were all about like, oh, why can't we participate? And everyone tried to keep us out. And what about our friend Maxime Bernier? He won't even be at the debate. And we're the victims here. We're the victims. Please let us in. And like, if you humor that and like give them a response, either the way Trudeau does, which paints them as this giant evil, or you do it like the more like sort of like, yeah, you should be there, like, diversity of voices, blah 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 blah. Like, no, like fucking just be like, nope, come on, way better, way fucking better. I don't know why that's like it's difficult for a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people are like, marketplace of idea. We need a debate. We need all the debate to be aired out. And it's like, I don't know. Even look at this pandemic right now. Has debate helped or hurt vaccine uptake? Has the existence of a plethora of voices, anti-vax voices, on Facebook and social media helped anything? Has it helped?
Yeah, it's helped ivermectin sales.
Yeah, it helped ivermectin sales. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Lord. So, yeah, this is another good one. So this was the English language debate. We watched this last night, so we'll skim through it. But here's our boy. What are we? We're Blanchette Tets.
Yeah.
Well, first I said Blanchette heads, and then we realized that tete was head in French, so it sounds better to say Blanchette tets. We're lame, but here's Blanchette.
Oui, thank you, merci. Prochaine question, Lincoln J, Rebel News. Please go ahead.
Yes, Lincoln J, Rebel News. Mr. Blanchet, Trudeau calls people who disagrees with him those people and threatens them with consequences. Are you the same way? Do you think there are millions of Canadians who simply don't deserve to participate in politics, journalism, or even in the economic life of Canada if they disagree with you on issues like vaccine passports?
Je ne réponds pas aux questions de Rebel News.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Alexa pour...
Beautiful. Blanchette answered that quite well. I had my Blanchette pet chapeau. Oh my god.
Oh, he says I don't take questions from Rebel News.
Yeah, sorry, I looked at the subtitle.
The translation.
We can hear it again.
Be coffee.
I mean, it's so.
Je ne réponds pas aux questions de Rebel News.
I do not answer or do not respond to questions from Rebel News. Yeah. I do not respond to questions from Rebel News. It's exactly correct. And this is Trudeau from the English language debate.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Alexandre pour Rebel News. Donc, Monsieur Trudeau, je
I
vais
remind
revenir
you what
rapidement
happened
sur
last
ce qui s'est
night.
passé hier.
You
Vous avez
demonized one of
diabolisé
rare media
l'un des rares médias qui ne reçoit pas d'argent
that doesn't
du
receive
gouvernement.
money from the government.
Vous avez
Yeah, but
exprimé
it's in
votre
rare in the
opinion en
translation.
disant
You've
que nous
expressed your
propageons
opinion that we are
la
spreading this
désinformation.
information.
Si c'était vrai
If
et
it
si
was the
c'était le
case,
cas,
the federal
la Cour,
court will not have
la Cour
agreed on our
fédérale
side
ne nous
to be
aurait pas
here
permis
today.
d'être ici aujourd'hui. Je
That's
suis moi-même
not- this is a
scientifique
fact.
et je me
That's-
base
I'm a
sur les
scientist
faits.
and I base what I say
Ma
on
question est la
facts. No, you're not.
suivante.
Oh my god.
L'Israël est
This
l'un
is
des
my
pays les
question.
plus vaccinés au monde.
Israel's the most
Ils sont
vaccinated
rendus
country in the
maintenant à leur
world. They are now
4e
at 4
rappel de
boosters
vaccin.
and the double
Ils
vaccinated.
ne considèrent plus que ceux qui ont reçu 2 doses de vaccin sont pleinement
Are not
vaccinés.
recognized as fully vaccinated.
Ma question est,
This is my question.
plusieurs
Lots of Canadians don't want another booster.
Canadiens ne désirent pas avoir un rappel de vaccin. Allez-vous
Would you remove their
leur
privileges for the
enlever
vaccination passport?
leurs privilèges reliés au passeport vaccinal? Et
Would you have the courtesy
aurez-vous
as Prime Minister to
l'obligeance de
answer the question?
répondre à ma question en tant que Premier ministre ou allez-vous encore diaboliser mon média?
Or will you
J'ai
demonize
partagé
the
ma
media?
perspective sur ton organisation hier soir. J'ai plus rien à dire.
So there, I made my comments clear on your organization yesterday. I will not be commenting on your question. I mean, kudos to like change of tact, but like you already ruined it with your question the day before. And then the other thing is because you answered the earlier question, you now got to hear her rant her anti-vaccine shit to the country. You know what I mean? Like if you leave it at the surface level where like all they want to ask is they're like, please let us in, will you talk to us? And now they're stuck with the shit. Now they get to ask all their bullshit pseudoscience questions to you, you know? And now I feel like this response actually almost makes it feel like you don't actually have answers to those questions. When it's like, here's a question. Nothing you said there was true. Or here's an answer. Nothing you said was true. But then again, like it's not about facts at that point. So you're already engaged in the debate when you can just tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Why are they all so long-winded? Because they're long-winded because they're grifters. They need this is their time to shine. Think about it. They've been like banned off of everything, and this is the only time the like main like news or media will cover them. Or not cover them because like no one's like covering them, but now they get to have a voice that is heard by like however many people watched the debate last night, which is way more than they get on YouTube, right? Or Rumble. So this is their time to shine. They're trying to grift because they're shit weasels.
Yeah, this is
yes,
peak fundraising time for them.
Yep. Which is the whole reason that's why they do the lawsuits in the first place, to get allowed into the debates, because this is a marketing opportunity. Got to get those grifting victim bucks somehow.
Ça démontre bien qui vous êtes. Merci.
That shows what kind of person you
You're
are.
saying the polls show that your party is between 15 and 20%. No party here on the stage tonight is even close to representing a majority of Canadians. This is an absolute divided country. Yet when conservative journalists like me ask you fair questions on behalf of Canadians, you insult us and refuse to answer a single word. You are like a child putting your hands over your ears. Do you really think you can become Prime Minister by trying to freeze out any Canadian who disagrees with you?
So I want to just pause here before we get any response. Like, think about Hoser for Life, if you're still here. See what
I was
is
just thinking about that
happening,
too, yeah.
You shut them down, and what it does is it leaves them in this very petulant state. They're in a childlike state where they feel like you're not accepting of them and you're not allowing them, and why are you being so mean to us? And now who looks better? You made the fascist people who are often like posturing the strongman image. You make them look so weak and ineffectual and like childish. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't make them seem strong and powerful like they got to you.
What I was thinking of too was the fact that like Sheila and Poser for Life both are trying to make Jagmeet look like the petulant, childish one, when like it's so obvious that it's fucking Rebel News that are being like petulant and childish because they're just like whining. That's all that they can do.
And look at the
That's all that they
smile
do
on his
ever.
face. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Make fun of me. I don't give a shit. Yeah. That's some legit energy here, you know? You're not getting to me. I don't care that I don't want to answer your question.
Your own riding, you only got 38% of the vote. Is this how you treat the other 62%
You look so excited
of people
to-
who disagree with you?
No, thanks so much.
Good evening, Miss.
I love that.
Oh my god. Nope, thanks so much. See you later. I did like, what was it? Somebody tweeted out where it was like, Jagmeet looks so happy to shut them down. Filled with so much joy just to say no to Rebel News. And yeah, I'm here for it. And notice, so we're leaving this. This is the final question, okay? Look how, this is half the video. Like, this is not the way to address this. This is the worst thing that happened at the debate last night, in my opinion. One of the worst things. And it goes to show that like she's already pretty much destroyed the Green Party, so why not put another nail in that coffin? And we'll get to some of the reactions to it when we're done with this. To understand why this is not a good thing to do. Okay, so we know I've already explained why the Justin Trudeau thing is not a good thing to do. Now we're going to find out why is the sort of like capitulation, let all voices come to the table view not the right thing to do.
Evening, Ms. Paul. Hope you're doing well. Ms. Paul, clearly this debate is an insider's club for the political establishment. It banned Maxime Bernier of the People's Party of Canada, even though he is ahead of the Bloc Québécois and Jerome Party, the Green Party, in the polls. It banned me and Rebel News from even reporting until the federal court said that was illegal. Why have you not spoken out against this? Don't you think all voices should be heard in Canada?
Thank you for the question. We did have an opportunity to provide recommendations to the commission establishing the rules for the debates. And certainly from our perspective, having more debates is incredibly important. It is incredibly disappointing that we only had 2 hours to discuss so many important issues. We spent...
So I want to pause there just because we're going to get the rest of like the bullshit answer. But like I've always been a staunch anti-debate person. She wants more debate. Having watched the debate last night, is having more of that a good thing? Did we learn anything last night? What did we learn?
It just sucked.
Yeah.
I do think like having a either unmoderated or like having a just like not shitty moderator and letting them actually like debate at some level might have helped. Like letting them yell at each other would have been good.
Would it? I don't know. I remember our debates in primaries. I didn't like that either.
No, well, you never, because like here's the thing: is they give
No,
you
but-
like strict like time limits. All you're seeing on stage is who like confidence or pose.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
Yeah.
Like, none of the content mattered. I mean, whenever Jagmeet was about to deliver some content, the moderator fucking cut him off. It was the worst thing ever.
Well, yeah, I understand that you were both very upset by Jagmeet getting cut off. I agree with that. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know if we want to spread the American blood sport style debate over to your people.
No,
I don't want that either.
See, I'm personally advocating for no debate at all. That's my position.
That's fair. I like that position.
I don't know if maybe what you do is you give each candidate like an hour on CBC, like leading up to like the poll. Give them each an hour just to do like you just have like what they should do is they just give that candidate an hour. You could talk about your platform. You could do whatever you want for that hour. You could put on a stage play. You could do whatever you want.
Okay, yes, I want that.
You just have an hour to just like tell the world what you are, you know? I'd be down for that.
Yeah, but we should have it like those Love is Blind shows where they're like hidden behind like a curtain. You can't see their face. They can just tell you. Ask them questions like, candidate number 1, we're going. How would you wine and dine me? And then you listen to them say like something really like kind of sultry and maybe a little bit dirty. What were we talking about? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So we do that. Also, thank you, Masses United.
I was just going to say that. For some reason, my raid thing is broken. We noticed this last night, and I've been too tired and busy today that I haven't gotten around to fix it. But for some reason, it's not announcing it. So if Vienna, we want to tell people to go follow Masses United. We also follow each other on Twitter. They're pretty cool. So shout out to Masses United. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid.
Their name isn't coming up.
It could be because we might not follow them. I did not, to be honest, I didn't know that they streamed. So
I really hope I didn't misspell that. It did work though.
Oh.
Anyways, yes, so we let random people get wined and dined by the leaders, and then after everybody gets their 1 hour of doing whatever the fuck they want, there is a cowboy-style shootout at the end. Maybe just like paintballs or something, but like...
Well, I did say it would have been like a nice end to the debate if like O'Toole unhinged his jaw and then just swallowed Justin Trudeau live on stage. That's some display of masculine dominance to take over. I am the leader now.
You don't want masculine dominance, though. Anybody can shoot a gun. If you got fingers and hand-eye coordination, you can shoot a gun. That's all you need.
Right, like 2 cards. Explain how you will solve the housing crisis in 5 seconds. And not only explain how to solve the housing crisis in 5 seconds, but explain it to Rosemarie Barton, whose sole purpose of being there is like, are you going to take my third home? Are you going to take my third home? It's like, maybe we need poor people moderating the fucking debate so you don't have, like, rich assholes getting mad at you for, like, property, like, owning tons of properties. So, like, Jesus Christ. Anyways, ban all debates is the... it's the conclusion of this segment. Ban all debates. Even the Twitch variety. Like, my God, there's another fucking... I saw a debate panel today that had like Shoe on Head, Karlin Borchenko. It's like, why are we debating? Why is this happening?
Why are these people debating of all fucking people too?
I don't.
Like this is it. This is the best we can come up with as a species. Is we need these people to talk about whatever the fuck they decide to talk about. Beautiful.
I think it said men's and women's issues.
That's exactly what I want. Karlin Borchenko and Shoe on Head talking about his men's and women's issues. Those are the people that I need to hear from.
Yeah, this is end all debates. I think that's a pretty concise and legit thing. But let's hear the rest of his terrible response, okay?
Yeah, I really do hate the internet. Oh yeah, forgot about this.
Yeah. Well, we got a pro-debate message, and now we're going to get... Remember, what David Menzies asked was about the PPC specifically not being at the debates.
I think 10 minutes or 20 minutes talking about Indigenous peoples, for instance. I don't think we spent even 10 minutes speaking about Afghanistan. So we can see what this new system has created. It's created less opportunities for people in Canada to get to know the parties, to get to know the leaders of those parties, to get to know our positions. That's not a good thing for democracy. In the case of those parties who are not included, I think we do need to find a way for small parties who are trying to establish themselves to have a way of participating and getting known. Otherwise, we do have the same old parties constantly monopolizing the discussion.
So it was framed in terms of the PPC, and now she's like, what we need is to have everyone there, even the PPC. Let's bring them all in, all the parties, and let's like get to chat and have a discussion. And it's like, why is that a bad response? Great question by David Menzies, and great answer from Anna-Mee Paul. She's a grown-up, unlike the childish male feminists Trudeau and Singh. This is True North, Andrew Lawton, also on, I think, Lindsay Shepherd, Candice Malcolm, a bunch of terrible people on this. Paul ends the presser criticizing debate format on the question of PPC exclusion, says that traditional parties dominate the platform and smaller voices should be considered. This is some cat with a Rebel News thing. I guess maybe she works for Rebel News or she's a fan of Rebel News, but like, respect to Anna-Mee Paul for actually answering a question like an adult from the Rebel News, unlike the rest of the party clowns, I mean party leaders. Got it. Andrea Humphreys. Well, would you look at that? Anna-Mee Paul isn't afraid of answering questions from conservative media. So. And Adam Sues, another Rebel employee that is going to be prominent in the next video we're going to watch. No leader impressed me in the debates, but Anna-Mee Paul most resembled a human being, saying things she actually believes and not just regurgitating script. The offer for an interview stands. So, like, you could see, she's courting the right wing by doing what she did. They all now see her as an ally.
I think I said it last night, but I really think that she is trying to win back Green voters who are those, like, weirdo, like, the hippie anti-vax types who are going and, like, you know, who have switched their allegiance from Green Party to PPC.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.